Edexcel students, paper 1 and paper 2 out the way, paper 3 is for the finish line. We're almost there. Got to make sure you prepare well, and it's very easy to prepare well for paper 3. First thing, don't over-prepare. It's a micro-macro game here. Re-revise all your micro and macro content and you'll be in a great place. Good piece of advice is to focus more on topics that haven't featured already in paper 1 and paper 2. That's a good start there, but basically re-revise your micro and macro content. Also make sure that you know the structure of the paper inside out. In that sense, you've got to watch my paper 3 videos in the Edexcel exam technique playlist that I have. It's linked up here. Very, very, very useful playlist. And I go through in real detail the exact technique you need for all these questions. Watch all those videos, you'll be in a great place. But this video is just to give you hints, tips for your preparation. So listen carefully to everything I'm going to say here. So you've got two sections to your exam, Section A and Section B. They're both going to be structured in exactly the same way. A 5, 8, 12 and then a 25 mark. Your 25 mark will be a choice out of two 25 markers there. So your 5, 8, 12, you've done these before in paper 1 and paper 2. No differences at all here. Same exam technique, same number of points you're looking to make. Just answer the questions as they come up again here. That should be absolutely fine. Just make sure though on time management that you don't spend too long, alright? A minute a mark, you've got to focus on that because you want to give yourself a good chunk of time for the 25 mark question that comes after it. The 25 mark question is the different kind of question, obviously, for you guys doing Edexcel here. It's a micro-macro effects question. I've got some big tips here, real big tips. My first piece of advice is to hunt down exactly what the question is asking. All you have to do is to evaluate the micro and macro effects of something. Not the impacts of something. So even if it's a policy, not the impacts of the policy, no! Just the micro and macro effects of the policy. Now be careful because that was the #1 mistake that students made last year. They didn't really see what the question was asking for. So see, what is the question asking? The micro and macro effects of what? That's all you need to focus on. Micro effects of that thing, macro effects of that thing. That's a great starting point. Now, what are micro effects, what are macro effects? Well, you'll see it in more detail on my 2 videos when I talk about micro and macro effects. But in your head, micro effects, what are we thinking? Price, quantity, choice, elasticity, surpluses, revenues, profits, market structures, efficiencies. We're talking about impacts on key stakeholders, so workers, consumers, government, producers. These are all classic micro effects. Market failures is great, government failure is great. All of this stuff is fantastic. Even demand, supply, those kind of things are clearly micro, aren't they? What about for macro? Well, we're looking at growth, unemployment, inflation, trade, income inequality, government finances, all these macro objectives, but also aggregate demand, aggregate supply, multiplier effect. These are all obviously macro points, macro effects. So knowing those well, my advice is to go through loads of topic areas in your course, write down the topic areas and then just write down big lists of micro effects and macro effects. If you can get 4 from each, 4 micro effects, 4 macro effects, for a wide range of topic areas, you're preparing brilliantly for this 25 mark question. Your evaluation is the same as normal. Okay, so once you've made a micro point, evaluate it in the same way you'd evaluate in paper 1 or paper 2. Evaluation doesn't have to be micro or macro, whatever. There are no rules there. Evaluate your micro or macro point in the usual way that you would in paper 1 or paper 2. Alright? What you don't need in your paper 3 25 marker is a judgment, because the question is not asking you to discuss anything. It's not asking you for a recommendation about anything. So you don't need to write a judgment at the end. You just need to write your 2 micro points, your 2 macro points, evaluate them, and then you're done. That's it, finished. Great advice there, great way to prepare. If you just practice loads of these different topic areas, you'll be in a great place. In terms of timing guys, for your 5, 8, 12, a mark a minute, you're going to be under time pressure. You've got to stick to that. Because for the 25 marker, you want to leave yourself 35 minutes. That's a brilliant amount of time to write a great 25 marker. Add that up twice, obviously, because you're going to get these questions twice. That ends up being 2 hours and you'll be absolutely fine. So very important you stick to that advice. So like I said, follow all the tips in this video, but crucially, make sure you watch the paper 3 videos in the Edexcel exam technique playlist and you'll be in an excellent place. Alright, so all the best guys, work hard, smash that paper 3 when it comes your way.